watch your phraseology.
Meet the Chicago Historians will return right after these messages on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. Hey friends, do you need new tires for your car? Do you need your oil changed? Do you need any kind of parts for your car? A new battery? A new windshield wiper blades? Anything for your vehicle, you can stop in and see Tom at Berkeley Auto Supplies, which is located at 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley, Illinois. Yes, stop in and see Tom. He'll take care of you, and he's got everything you need for your vehicle, from bumper to bumper, from the top of the roof to the bottom of the chassis. Berkeley Auto Supply, 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley. And Tom's telephone number is 708-544-8350. If you need your brakes ground down or taken care of, Tom can do that. If you need any kind of tools to do work on your vehicle, Tom has got them right there and in front of his counter at 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley. For batteries, wiper blades, motor oil, antifreeze, transmission oil, power steering fluid, whatever you need for your vehicle, stop in at Berkeley Auto Supply, 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley, Illinois. Now, he is just east of Wolf Road on St. Charles Road, just east of Wolf Road, or a couple miles west of Mannheim Road. He's on the south side of the street. You can't miss it. Berkeley Auto Supply, 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley. Once again, Tom's phone number is 708-544-8350. His hours, Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. Saturdays from 8 in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening. And on Sundays, he's there from 10 o'clock until 3 o'clock. So whatever you need for your vehicle, tires, motor oil, transmission, power steering, antifreeze, windshield washer solution, whatever you need for your vehicle, from bumper to bumper, from the top of the roof to the bottom of the chassis, the place to go is Berkeley Auto Supply, 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley. His number is 708-544-8350. And hard to find parts, that's his specialty. So once again, Tom at Berkeley Auto Supply. They're located at 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley, Illinois, west of Mannheim Road and just east of Wolf Road on St. Charles Road on the south side of the street. See Tom, Berkeley Auto Supply. And you are listening to Meet the Chicago Historians from the John DeVito Broadcast Center on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. And now back to our panel and our moderator, Jack Ryan. It's all yours, Jack.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Looks like we're in the home stretch now, folks, and we are, as I said before, we're having a great time. We're talking about all the things that were common and trivial and small in nature. And one thing we haven't touched on, and sort of the oral tradition, it made me think of before about calling people. We used to call each other, like, go by the house and, yo, Bobby, and that sort of thing.
That. I remember
outside
doing
the
that
door.
as a kid.
Am I right?
Oh,
Yeah, I remember doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Come out and play.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter would call her friend was across the schoolyard, and we were on Richmond, they're on Sacramento, and she called her there. I said, well, can't you just walk over there? Well, it's easier this way. But, but which also brings us down to the games we used to play that were kind of an oral tradition, like Blind Man's Bluff, right? What's another one?
Tag,
avoid the lines of the cracks in the sidewalk, jump,
Stinkfish.
Aim for that.
Step in a crack and break your back.
That's right.
Kick the can and
hide and seek.
Hide and seek.
Mother May I?
Mother May I?
Mother May I, yeah.
Turning an old orange crate with some roller skate wheels on the bottom and
making a scooter
down the street.
Remember the sound you'd hear?
Oh yeah, everybody had one.
Putting the playing card with a clothespin into the bicycle to make that click, 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 click.
Yeah.
And all the guys had cap pistols.
Definitely. How about marbles?
Marbles.
I can remember the big circle and out there in the dirt.
And cat's
eyes and
cat's eyes.
Boulders.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of a good way to break a kid into gambling, because you lose.
But I never played marbles. I had marbles, but I don't remember actually playing marbles.
The game.
They just had them in a bag, like they were
Jacks, the ball.
I remember Jacks, with the little rubber ball and the little stars called little
twosies.
We'd make a circle in the earth and everybody put a marble in there, and if you shot it out,
where you went,
it was yours.
Oh yeah.
I say it's breaking a kid into gambling.
We we lived on a corner, and you had grass everywhere that you could. By the time summer was over, that one whole piece of corner grass was gone. Every kid was playing marble.
Yeah. My uncle was also my godfather. So when he was a kid in school one time, and he was cutting up, or he was not paying attention, and they were studying science. And the teacher says, well, John, he says, you seem to be a very intelligent young man. Can you tell me why they put the cracks into sidewalks? And my uncle says, gee, that's so the kids can pitch pennies on them. But he had to stay after school, and I think he knew that he was giving a wise. He knew he was giving a smart aleck. He had to stay after school for that one.
Mm-hmm. Why is it? It was a punishment to stay after school, but if you could stay and clean the erasers, that was all right.
I remember lapping the eraser,
Yeah, with all that chalk.
You were a teacher's
pet.
Teacher.
That was.
And you just made a good remark. You thought that was special. She picked you.
That's right.
What a fool.
To clean erasers. Let's go around and identify ourselves once again.
Ron Smolin.
I'm Jeanette Frontier.
Rich Lang.
Ken Little.
John Escacholco.
And I'm Wanda, your Chicago historian's bunny.
And I'm Jack Ryan.
Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.
The boss, John DeVita.
At the John DeVita Broadcast Center.
Undisclosed location.
What was there, a flashlight tag, too? There was a game you'd play like that with outside at night. And if you get the person, you got the flash beam on, you had to stop.
That's interesting. Because you'd normally go in when the street lights came on.
Yeah.
I remember catching what we called lightning bugs. They weren't fireflies; they were lightning bugs. Catching, put them in a little jar with a little grass.
Yeah, you had to have some food in there for them. Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah,
we used to play higher in the ground. Where
you raised.
You would. I grew up next to 4 sets of elevated tracks, and of course they had this steel structure, and and you could climb on them, and also they had a nice big light over the street. We play 3 feet in a mud puddle and say, everybody take 1 step, and then you try and get across the street, and if you got tagged, why?
And talking about that street light, that meant a lot, didn't it? That street light was your marker to time to go in.
That's
Nobody had to come and get you. No one had a curfew. You just, just breathed a sigh and said, I got to go in now.
Yeah.
And that was the end of
and
it.
we play in vacant lots, often called prairies.
Prairies,
Our station manager would like to...
I have to tell you a little story about lightning bugs, okay?
Sure.
My mom and dad, my sister and I, we had gone up to Ann Arbor, Michigan on vacation. One of the mechanics where my dad worked at Packard Motor Car Company let the family use his cabin. So we get up there, we get all settled in. When it gets dark in Michigan, it gets dark. It's just like walking into a black ink bottle. So we're sitting in the kitchen table having something to eat, And my dad looks out the window and he sees something flashing. And as he's sitting there, he's looking, and this thing is getting closer and closer to the house. And anytime my dad would go on vacation, he always carried a .38 revolver with him. So what does he do? He tells everybody, my mom, my sister, and I, to go upstairs in the bedroom. And he went upstairs in the suitcase and got out his .38. And he went downstairs by the door, and he's watching this thing, and the thing keeps flashing and flashing. It keeps getting closer and closer to the house. So finally he opens up the door and he says, "Stop or I'll shoot." And the thing just kept on getting closer and closer. So finally what he did, he turned on the floodlights, or the lights on the outside of the house, and here it was a lightning bug. A firefly, as they would call it. But it was just so strange. I mean, at nighttime, this thing almost looked like a beacon because it was so dark out there.
Just one lightning
Just
bug?
one.
Was
Just
that
one,
visible
yeah.
that
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever, like, we're all city kids, right? Basically. Did you ever, like, get out in an old field and look across when the lightning bugs are in season? You like this, like all this flashing. It's like looking like looking at the stars.
Yeah.
Usually at twilight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll
Yeah.
see a
Well,
lot of
look, and if they're
stars
looking
in the
males look for
northern
female to shine
states.
the lights around.
Yeah.
The one that doesn't fly, that's the glowworm, and this is the lightning bug or the firefly, and they want to hook up,
Jack knows.
Shiny little
Can you blame
glow.
them? They only live a
Mark
few
Twain,
weeks.
I don't know what the reference was, but he once said, if you don't understand the difference between this and that, and I don't recall what he says, it's like saying you don't know the difference between lightning and a lightning bug.
Oh, what a good analogy. Yeah.
Oh, he came up with them.
No, talking about all the games and things like that. We used to sit on our front porch, which you don't see that anymore.
Wow.
And I think that's such a loss. But slowly one kid would come walking and then the other, and all of a sudden you had a porch full of kids, nothing rowdy, and we would do jokes, and we would then think of a game to play, and it was a nightly
Made up
thing.
your-
After supper, that was the big
Good
thing. And
socializing,
it was marvelous, and you saw your neighbors, and sometimes we would name cars. You could tell
It was easy to
Yeah,
tell
it was
in the
easy,
late
yeah.
40s
the
the girls were
bodies
so
of the
distinctive.
cars,
Yeah.
right, were
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
distinguished.
As I was telling you when we were talking about this, my sister and I would be walking to school on our back to the car, and we got so we could recognize the car by the sound of the engine. And they were in the
That's
50s.
amazing.
They're all different, in the 50s. Of course,
Yeah,
they're different
to
cars.
me, that's remarkable.
That is
But when they
incredible.
said the cracks in the sidewalk, we used to jump them, and
Yeah.
some of the sidewalks had the imprint of whoever made it
Yeah,
or what.
they
Yeah.
put that
So
in
that
a
was
stamp and would have-
stinkfish.
Stinkfish.
And you didn't either want to get it or you wanted to jump over it, and
Nobody wants to be stinkfish, right?
simple games.
One game I enjoyed was a ball game was running bases. Did you ever
Yeah.
play running bases? That I enjoyed. Or hit against, you'd bounce the ball against the
a
wall.
building and
one
it'd
kid
come
would
back,
bounce and then
right?
you'd be out with like the fielders trying to catch it.
Hit with a softball,
hit against.
correct?
Fast pitching.
And you could play alone too.
Fast pitching
Rubber
or-
ball,
or
usually a rubber ball.
Yeah.
ledge ball, hitting it off the
Tennis
ledge.
ball.
I bet you must have sold a lot of those rubber balls at your store, huh? Those little,
Oh God, you had the paddle.
I mean, the little rubber ball
Oh.
they pitch too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
said sometimes they look like they were rubber, but
Like a
sometimes
miniature
they'd
league
use
ball,
your,
but they were,
Yeah,
we
not
play
as
fast
hard.
pitching. In the East, they call it stick ball. We call it fast pitching with the
Yeah,
at the.
I love that game. I used to,
And you could play alone too. You know how you'd be waiting for somebody, and somehow you'd come
hit the
up
ball
like
almost like-
solitaire. You'd come up with your own rules.
almost like
or-
handball or something.
Yeah, but we used to have that paddle, and the ball, and
Oh yeah, sure.
really,
yeah. Yeah.
there's
Oh,
always
yeah.
an
Yeah, boom,
expert.
boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course girls jumping rope and double dutch and
Yeah.
all the
Yo-yos.
We never.
yo-yos.
stuff you
Oh
can do
lordy
with the
lord,
yo-yo.
walk
Yeah.
the dog. You know that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the old days, next to every school was what you would call a candy store.
Candy
A
store.
candy store.
Right.
So
Oh,
much
sure.
could be bought for just a penny.
That's what you
Yeah.
had, wasn't it? Did you have a school store? Like?
Yes.
School store.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was a neighborhood store, but yes,
Yeah.
you're right. And your supplies.
Candies and supplies.
And
School
all
supplies,
these things were
sure.
available. The paddles and the
was
ball. And,
Yo-yos.
Was a
Yeah.
Catholic church or parish, it was called the Holy Store.
Oh,
Is that
always.
right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because you could buy a rosary
A medal
or
or
a missal or something.
or your communion supplies.
I was going to
or-
say, I grew up on the near north side. We used to see the what we call the Lindbergh beacon.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Would flash around us all the time. You know, it was about every, I don't know, 30
Who was
that in the
that on
Palmolive
the
building?
Palm-
It was on the
yeah,
Palmolive
I was just
building,
gonna
yeah.
say.
People called it the Palm Olive Beacon, but yeah, it was actually the Lindbergh, Beacon.
Yeah.
That's right.
Remember, you used to go to the candy store and get a small bottle of Kato.
Kale, yeah.
Kale, yeah.
Kato,
Kale.
And then they would have the ball and paddle with the ball would be on a rubber band. and
Yeah,
you
we
would-
used to-
Yeah, yeah, that's what that was what we were
one
saying.
thing,
John.
one thing I didn't hear you gentlemen talk about
Wow.
was tops.
I just did.
Oh,
Oh, did you?
Baseball cards.
I
yeah.
must have been listening.
You
but
gotta
yeah,
know
you
how
put-
to wind it
wind it
first
up.
so
Oh,
that
tops.
when you
Tops,
start,
yeah.
Actual tops.
And you
Uh-huh.
buy a picture, maybe put it in the sun for a few minutes, and it would develop.
Oh yeah, that's that.
Oh, what
What
is it?
Polaroid? That negative.
It was
what
like
was
that,
it?
yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it a Polaroid?
Yeah.
You brought it
This is
out
a-
and it was a negative, and then the sun.
Put it in the sun.
Yeah.
And you see a picture.
See?
develop, yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
Instant-
that was
instant-
great. You didn't
instant
have.
pictures,
Of course,
that's right.
you went to look at it a year later, and it was all yellow and gone. But
Yeah.
you know, and
Polaroid
you took
pictures did that,
somebody's
right.
wedding.
Right.
Don't you wish you had all the baseball cards, or during the war they had World War II cards? My brother had
My
a set
brother
of
had 'em.
on American Indians, you know, Geronimo and some of the chiefs, and they were maybe during the 30s, and they were in color. Some were in black and white, but most of them were in color.
Yeah.
And he said, I've tried to, what happened. We moved, and we left stuff behind, and
How?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could get, and then
Oh.
I can remember my
Yeah.
brother
Yeah.
being. My brother would. It's World War II. Any soldier or sailor, anybody in the service, they were within the neighborhood. He'd ask them like say they'd have a stripe or they'd have a medal,
patch,
and they would give it to him. Like they would actually, I don't know how they got more, but
You could get.
and he
Oh, yeah.
had
The
such
ribbons, I
a
think,
collection.
increased
Yeah,
Are
of
there
that.
insignias like from their units or whatever?
Yeah, and
Patches,
they were
shoulder
very
patches.
willing to give it to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But when you said the baseball cards, I can remember some of the people's he collected.
Yeah.
And when we all had chores, and one of mine was to clean a bedroom or whatever. And if I found them laying on the floor, you know where they went? Right in the garbage.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You were
And
throwing-
I know
You were
that
throwing out
millions
Ted
of
Williams,
dollars.
Ted Williams,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
You gotta
yeah.
keep
This
them in
is
cigar
not going to
boxes or
work
something
in my
like that.
house. You know.
Gehrig and
Oh, yeah.
Then he had the
Andy
nice
Pavko?
Yeah.
metal soldiers, they had bayonets.
Oh, I
and
know
guns
lead
and
soldiers were big.
Hundreds
Lead
of those,
Oh, I had a
say,
huge,
and play war and whatever, all by himself.
Oh yeah. Oh
front
yeah.
room rug,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I caused
Remember,
a few of those,
Kellogg's during that period did they have cutout planes in the back too? Like
Oh,
different,
sure, on the box.
Yeah, probably.
Allied and
yeah.
Axis both?
I know.
Superman was sponsored on the radio by something called Kellogg's Pep,
Yeah.
which was gone by the time I was a kid. There was I don't know what Kellogg's Pep was.
It was like Wheaties.
Was that what?
Yeah.
It was instead of just
They still
cornflakes,
had
they-
that in restaurant packages in the 70s.
Yeah, I never
Really.
in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
right.
never heard of it other than on the radio broadcasts of
Kellogg's Pep, the great whole wheat cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman. Wasn't that
Do
right?
you remember on
Da-da,
certain
da-da,
radio
da-da.
shows you could send in for some
Decoder,
Decoder, yeah, or
Captain
ring.
And
Captain
you
Midnight.
couldn't wait
Things with
for-
secret compartments. Everything had a
yeah.
secret
You
compartment.
could have won the war with that
Yeah.
crazy thing,
Well,
But oh yeah,
Baseball cards were on the back of cereal boxes too in the 60s. Post Toasties and Kellogg's.
and I think they were also in bubble gum.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just when they
yeah.
went to
That was the big
square,
thing. Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
you got that, and you had to look at that picture.
They started out as tobacco cards originally, what they were,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they said, well, we got something
Oh
else.
my!
Baseball, yeah, like in the
Because
1890s.
Honus Wagner wouldn't allow his picture. He said, stop, I have nothing to do with tobacco.
Yeah.
So it's a real rare one if
One
we
of
ever
them
find
just
it.
sold for like over $1 million.
Yeah, let's find a few of
They
those.
were
huh?
very small too. Cards
Yeah.
were
Some
very
were.
small.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Some of those 1890s turn of
Yeah.
the century cards.
They were
small.
like 2 inches by 1 inch or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
They weren't what we remember from the.
Yeah. And they used them for some, stores would use them as a handout promotion. Their name was on the back. They had to have something on the back, and on the front they'd have a Firemen were very popular in those days. Pictures
Yeah,
of
was there?
horse-drawn. Yes, horse-drawn fire trucks and stuff.
Said if I wanted to be loved, I would have been a fireman.
Yeah, right.
How about one of the commercials we used to listen to on radio with Dinah Shore?
Oh, Chevrolet.
See the USA in your Chevrolet.
American kids.
America's #1 car.
Or Rinso White. Rinso White, the
What a sweetheart she
America's
was.
the
wasn't
greatest
she?
land of all.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And what about
That was-
Lifebuoy soap
Oh, gosh,
What about
yeah.
and Rimso?
Rinso White.
Rinso
That happy little white
L-A-V.
Yeah.
Well, what was Rinso was real slow, wasn't it?
Rinso White.
Rinso
White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rinso.
Yeah.
Use Ajax, boom, boom, the blue dot
Right.
cleanser, boom, 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 boom. I remember that.
Why we never became
The
singers,
youngsters have no idea.
No, they don't know what the
Oh,
hell we're
Lord,
talking
Now,
about.
you know,
didn't
John, our engineer, just gave me a paper with so many memories of old
Oh.
commercials and so on. And a
You
good
want to sing a
exam-
few?
Yeah, no, I won't sing them, but
What do you have? Old time
Adams
flavor.
Hats, Admiral, Ajax, Alka-Seltzer, Fizz,
Speedy
Fizz,
Alka-Seltzer.
Fizz,
Yeah.
Pop,
How
Fizz,
about-
Fizz,
Go ahead.
Anison, Aspirin's, Anchor Hockey.
And
which
remember, Anison spelled backward is
is
Nickanack.
Oh, Lord, this is just amazing. Bosco, and it's that milk.
That was Seratan. Remember?
Oh,
Nature's.
Seratan. Seratan
That's
spelled
right.
backwards
How
about
spells
Nature's?
nature. So
All
I
the-
started spelling all these other things
all the
backwards.
country western, it was P-Runa that was good for your kidney and liver.
Carter's little liver pills, too, remember?
Oh, yeah.
How about this
don't-
one?
Yeah.
Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp. There's a razor, Gillette super speed with the blade edge and the weight you need. Like regular heavy hay, only way to get a decent shave. No.
Remember the American Indian
You'll
call CET for
television.
television. And he's
Mohawk
beating the
Rock,
drum on
television.
You know,
Politically incorrect.
Hudson 32700.
Oh yeah, that's still my favorite phone number. What's your phone number?
Nestles Nestle's makes the very best chocolate.
He's from Chicago. Jimmy Nelson was.
Is that right?
Farfel.
Yeah, Farfel.
Right.
Yeah.
Farfel.
He's retired in Florida now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still?
yeah, he was good. He was.
And
His
a
lips
tragic,
didn't move.
tragic note about commercials, the Foreman brothers. Do you recall the
Oh,
auto
yeah.
place? And then God bless the next week, they were all killed in their
Yeah.
front
Oh,
office.
yes, yes.
Wasn't that the most horrible?
Guy
I,
walked in with
yeah,
a shotgun.
Yeah.
I worked for the sergeant who caught the guy, too.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh, he
right?
gave
His name
himself
was,
up, didn't he?
Shoot.
How,
great guy, too.
Howard Motors.
Oh, Howard
On
Motors.
Western Avenue,
Yeah.
it's something.
Jim
whatever
Moran.
the
The courtesy
Oh, Jim
man.
Moran.
Jim Moran, the courtesy
Courtesy
Lynn
man.
Burton for certain.
You're probably
yeah.
asking yourself, what kind of an automobile can you get for $195?
Yeah.
Well, let's say you're only interested in basic transportation.
Four-wheel.
Well, we got this wonderful, like new 1952 Hudson, ladies and gentlemen.
How about this one? So save it blank like Chevrolet, blank blank with the backward K.
Nicky.
Nicky.
Sure.
Yeah.
Up our way.
And
know
that
what I'm talking about?
Frank Z, too. What was that one?
Z
Frank.
Yeah.
Z Frank for your Chevrolet.
Nicky Chevrolet.
Zolly, I think.
Yeah, was Zolly Frank.
Or
yeah.
Zeppelin.
That was.
Just one story on Nicky Chevrolet. It was a salesman for R.R. Donnelly, or R.H. Donnelly, I'm sorry, Yellow Pages. He said to me, he was trying to sell him this ad, he says, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to put the K in your name backwards. If you don't get 200 calls in the first week on this, I'll pay for this ad myself.
Wow.
Sure enough, the calls came in like crazy.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, in later editions, they thought this was a mistake, and they printed it the other way. He didn't have to pay for the ad. I bought my first new car from them, too.
Did you? They were up on Irving Park,
Right.
at 45,
19
51.
1969 Chevrolet Impala Custom Coupe with a 327 engine.
Biggie.
Wow. But
That
you bought
car's
it was
probably
still,
still-
it was 14 years old.
It's probably
though, right?
no, it's brand new. It was probably still running.
And probably around $2,000.
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
All I know is how much you have to pay.
Two and a half.
I mean,
Yeah, right.
I know, but I mean, now
Yeah,
when you
by
think of it.
a car for 700 bananas.
Oh, yeah.
The guy walks in with 700 bananas. I want the guy. I said, you're crazy, yeah. We meant money. He went to court. The judge says it says 700 bananas. Sell him the car for 700 bananas.
Can you imagine?
We all remember Mad Munz.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I worked for him.
Did you?
Yeah, on North Avenue.
Was that the quarter meter plan?
CET.
There was a TV that had the quarter
CET.
meter plan. Was that CET?
I think so.
Yeah.
He had
The quarter meter had a little box they
Yeah.
would show on
Big box,
TV, and you put a
yes,
quarter in. I
So
guess.
if you're
Yes,
watching
on the
it
back of the
on
box.
some
The
show.
little things,
One of my favorites was when, if you remember Fahey Flynn and P.J. Hawk,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they were sponsored by Standard Oil, and periodically they would bring out some gas pump jockey from one of the, and they would interview him. And Fahey Flynn would be, and the poor guy was reading off of a cue card, and it would be like, well, tell us about your family, Bill. Well, Fahey, I have my lovely wife, Patricia, and we have 2 children, Robert, 12, and our daughter, Linda, who is 7.
Oh,
Can't really do that well. I
Talking from
don't
the
know if that
heart.
gets through on radio, but
I'm going to tell you something, but off camera, off mic about that. But go ahead. Yeah, but he was. Everybody loved him though, with the bow tie and.
oh yeah,
you know,
Jose was great, but
Yeah.
these poor guys would come up there, and it was so obvious they were reading off cue cards, and they're waiting for the card to change.
And you know, I do notice that now. Every now and then, some are very good at reading and looking straight without moving their eyes, but there's always somebody whose eyes are
Yeah.
going, you know.
And now they got teleprompters.
Yeah,
of
they
course,
got teleprompters.
In those days, they
Now
just
that-
held up a piece of
I know
cardboard
it.
with the stuff written on it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, but
Yeah.
you can tell that they are reading something there.
Talking heads.
Yeah, just it's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean,
They call them newsreaders or something. Instead of they
something.
just call them newsreaders.
Yeah.
That's all they're really
Yeah.
doing is
That's
sitting
all
there at
they're
a
really-
desk reading.
Yeah.
How many Alex Dryers are there anymore?
Oh, uh-oh.
hello.
Hello.
Now we have a call from.
Now we have a call from. Hello.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, hello, caller.
Yes, that's right. You win our prize this.
Yeah, right.
We got no phone in, so where were we talking about news? What was another news?
Alex Dreyer, the man on the goal.
A man
On the
on-
go. Man on the go.
And I am Len O'Connor.
Yeah. His lips move less than Edgar Bergen's.
His Honor the Mayor announced today.
Better sleep, Bergen.
A little sour. Yeah.
You know what? I collect pictures of fires, etc. And there was one shot there. And it was a fire in the near north side around Grand and Wells. And there's a picture they have in the foreground is a station wagon and it says Leonard O'Connor and he was the man on. He wasn't. I don't know what but he was. He had a. I don't know. I guess he was recording it on radio or talking into the station. But here's this, this 41 Buick station wagon or so, but it's
Yeah.
all lettered up,
Yeah, yeah. Guess
And,
who I am? Huh?
Yeah. A great line
No.
was he goes to see Santa Claus one time. I guess it was a family affair or something like that. And they said, "What did you notice about what was your memories?" He said, he said Santa Claus is wearing my uncle's shoes." Was his uncle, obviously.
Well, on that happy note, we wound up with Santa Claus, and we touched a lot of the subjects we wanted to, and I think we probably could expand on those in the future, on some shows in particular,
Yeah.
probably newspapers. Maybe it was too general a subject, but our next recording session will be on April 16th, on Monday, and we got to figure out between now and then, folks, what we're going to come up with as a subject. So, on behalf of
John Escachoco wishing you all a very happy Easter.
Patty Baller saying, "Come to my tavern, 403 West North Avenue."
Rich Lang. Best wishes, everybody.
Jeanette Frontier, I hope we caught your ear today and keep tuned in. We're going to have some interesting programs coming up.
And Ron Smolin leading the band as we go up.
And this is Jack Ryan, thanking you for listening. And remember, history is much more than a book you keep on the shelf.
And you have been listening to Meet the Chicago Historians from the John Navita Broadcast Center on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. Thanks for listening. Have a good day and be safe.